and the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was won.
All right, what is up, my babies? This is another episode of So Be It. I'm your host, Cyrus, here to titillate your audio holes one episode at a time. And as always, the views and expressions on So Be It do not reflect those of YouTube, any YouTube channel, any YouTube radio station, any kind of internet radio station, or terrestrial radio station for that matter. However, they do reflect those of the Haterade drinking Shiba Monkey. So, apologies for my absence last week. Not that any of you probably noticed, but last week just really kind of wasn't really feeling myself. Kind of decided to just kind of lay low for the week. So kind of get myself back into the groove, I guess, is the correct way to put it. So kind of wasn't really feeling like myself, wasn't really feeling anything at all. So apologies for anybody that may or may not have been looking for me. So that is what happened. No, I am not dead. I'm still very much alive. So, A Matter of Love. Pretty sure that was a 80s song. Don't really hear too much of it anymore. It's not a group that I really recognized from way back then. I don't really listen to them all much, but kind of seems appropriate for tonight. Because I ran across somebody today, kind of bumped into me, in the hallowed halls. And, it's obviously, you guys know the job that I do. I don't really get out very much. Don't get to go around a whole lot. I escape whenever I can. But even if it's to take voluntary trips up to the teachers' mailboxes, that's still worth it for me to stretch my legs, get up and out and about and walk around. So as fate would have it, this kid that I bumped into, he ended up being somebody that I know, kind of, I've gotten to know over the last, several months, and kind of talked to him about some stuff. And he just seemed really, really put out more than usual. And, it's a 50-50 shot that I ask a kid, hey, like, what's wrong? What's going on? They'll just either, one of two things will either happen. They'll either say nothing, I'm good, and just keep that solemn look on their face, or they won't answer at all. They'll just keep going. So, kids today, so desensitized by movies and television. But, or actually, no, that was back in like the 90s, 2000s. Now it's, Instagram and Snapchat. Damn you, social media. Anyway, I digress. So I ended up stopping him, like, hey, what's going on? You look like you're ready to kick a puppy. And when you look like that, and versus always looking all kind of bubbly and smiley and all this other riffraff. So what's going on? Talk to me. And come to find out, it's a subject that I've kind of talked about before, or at least I did a few weeks ago. And he seems to have gotten caught up in the love bug, or, so he thinks. And I looked at him. I said, look, truth be told, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. I said, you're full of it right now. You don't know what love is. You're too young. I said, you are way, way too young. Middle schoolers, there's a lot of things that they don't know. They don't really know how to, control themselves that much. Or at least the majority of them don't, because, the hormones are raging and just all this other shit. They don't know how to roast. Sorry, they don't. Young people, middle schoolers, y'all suck. Some high schoolers, you suck at roasting. Can't do it. Give it up. And one thing, without a shadow of a doubt, that is a no, every single time, is the subject of love. Sticky, gross, icky, whatever the hell kind of label you want to put on it. No, you don't know. And the reason why I know this is because, well, the more obvious reason, I used to be you. And despite what you may think about my age, it was not too long ago. Saying it out loud, yeah, it sounds like a pretty long ass time. On paper, no, it is not. And middle school, this is what you do. You start, quote unquote, dating or whatever. And 2-3 weeks later, oh my God, I love you. Bullshit. I take a leaf out of one of my old mentors from the hit TV show Scrubs book, Dr. Cox. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. And I cannot sing that any more, any louder, any clearer than that. Trust me, you have no idea what in the blue hell it really truly is. And I mean, obviously, I didn't go into that whole long spiel with him because, well, I was on camera and the cameras have all the audio and all this other shit. So I couldn't really fully, completely speak my mind. So he looked at me and he says, well, how do you know then? I'm like, come on, man. I looked at him. I tried to, truth be told, this is going to sound really horrible of me, but I tried to talk him out of it. Tried to talk him out of making me, go into it, give an explanation. But I looked at his face and he was not it wasn't a pleading look, but he wanted answers. And being the person that I am, I've been there and it's like, look, all right. So I basically pulled him aside. I'm like, look, here's the deal. I said, you're not going to really truly run into this for a couple years at least. And because, 7th grader and all. I said, but here you go. This is how you're really going to know. And it's how I would know because this is a feeling that I have felt before. And he goes, you did? I said, yeah, years ago. And unfortunately, it's not what I thought it was, but that doesn't mean the same thing is going to happen to you. Not by a long shot. He goes, oh, okay. I said, look, here's how you know. When you meet this person, the person that you're going to be with or who you end up falling for, whatever. When you meet them, this feeling is going to occur. They don't even have to touch you. They don't even have to talk. All they have to do is look at you. You lock eyes onto them for the very first time. And then all of a sudden, that's when it starts. You start feeling sparks. It feels like they're shooting out of you, and obviously, no. And it's going to be this incredible rush of electricity running through you. But it's not going to be like a little, tingle. It's going to be the most powerful thing you are more than likely going to feel in your life. And it will more than likely root you to the spot where even if you had a gun held to your head and you wanted so desperately to move, you still couldn't do it because you are rooted to the spot. And this electricity is coursing through you so much to the point to where if you think that you're going to touch somebody, you'll send them flying across the room. It is that powerful. Now, for me, another little, I don't know if side effect is the right word, but well, maybe it is for this, but my hands kind of start shaking, or they did start shaking. I don't know if that was just a one time thing or if it'll happen again. Hell if I know. Nobody really knows with this stuff, but the only thing that they really know for a fact is what they feel in that particular moment. And it just captivates you, encases you, and you don't want to look away. You know you should because, well, haven't really met this person. I don't really know this person, but yet you can't. You are pulled in. And then when you eventually meet them, or if it happens when you start talking to them or you meet them, same thing. You'll be pulled in. You can't divert your eyes away no matter how hard you try, no matter how desperately you want to. You can't. And as it progresses, you talk to this person, you may have nervous feelings. That's fine because you have all this stuff coursing through you. But as time goes on, you start talking to them more, then you start seeing each other, whatever. How else you really know is that feeling never ever dissipates. Even if you talk to them for hours at a time. Like you could, for sake of argument, let's say you talk from them like on the weekend. All right. For any of you school kids that are glued, like, oh my God, how do you know? How do you know? Let's just pick a day, Saturday. Okay. You start talking to them at like 8 a.m. It's the first thing you do. Message goes off. That same feeling of electricity shoots through you. That swooping sensation down in your stomach. It's not bad, not nauseous. It doesn't make you feel sick. It's different because it lifts you up. It makes you awake. It pulls you to your full attention to where you're aware of anything and everything. And you start talking to them. And you talk to them for, let's say, 4 or 5 hours. It's about noon, 1 o'clock, y'all stop. You get off the phone. Or text, whatever. And then 30 minutes later, they call or message you again. That same feeling shoots through you again and is there. And when you're with them, you never want to be apart from them. Never, ever. You want to just hold on to them and you don't want to let go. And then as time goes on and you get to really know the person and the eventual, well, in a perfect world for all of you, it would be a few months after that when you've really and utterly gotten to know them. When the I love yous are exchanged. And every single time that it's mentioned, you could say it over and over and over again, 3, 4 times in a row. It's still coursing through you. That feeling of hearing it makes your ears just tingle and everything just goes perfectly. And it shoots through you every single time, and you never ever get tired of hearing it. In fact, you want to hear it more. That's why a lot of people out there say it's like a drug, because you want more of it every single time. Your craving for it, your desire for it is more. And the other person, whether you're a her and you're with a he, or you're a he, you're with a her, or vice versa. If you're a her with a her or a he with a he, doesn't matter. It grips you. And they become the most important thing to you. And every single time, like I said, you say it, it pulls you in even further and even further. And no matter what, you say it, you always get that feeling. That is how you know. And for a little while, he just kind of stared at me like, what? I really couldn't get a good read on his face at first. But after a while, it was like the little light bulb in his head went off and it just kind of clicked. And he's like, oh, I'm like, yeah. He goes, wow, that's deep. Well, yeah. I mean, this isn't like a little teeny tiny little like crush we're talking about here. I'm like, come on. I'm like, there's even more to it. He's like, what? And then I said, yeah, there is. And I looked at my watch and I'm like, where are you going right now? And he told me, and I'm like, all right, I'll walk you there. And so I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I went on even further. And I said, look, the other parts of it that are attached to it is that, you're talking with them, you're hanging with them, you're just being with them. I said, and even the slightest thing will make your face flush red. They look at you and they smile at you, and that's all they have to do. They don't have to say a word. And it could be it could be as simple as that. Hell, a lot of times they don't even have to look at you. All they have to do is nuzzle into you. Lay their head down on your chest, or, just get their face close to yours and kind of press into you a little bit and encase your hand with theirs and that kind of stuff. And your face will flush red and electricity is going to be coursing through you so much that you could be used as a generator. And for somebody who doesn't really experience that very much, or for the extreme very first time, you might end up being a little fidgety just because you don't really know what the hell to do with it. That's all right. Just go with the flow. Don't make up some sorry ass excuse about, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so fidgety. Just let it be. If the other person doesn't say anything about it, don't worry about it. You're off the hook. I mean, if they say something, just be like, oh, I'm fidgety. Oh, I didn't notice. Just play it off. I didn't notice. I mean, if you want to go down the road of, I'm just so nervous because you're, and you go into the whole thing about how pretty beautiful they are. That's fine too. That works too. I'm not going to knock it. But I mean, I guess my point is you don't really have to make an excuse for how you feel if you're dealing with it for the very first time, because shit, the first time it happened to me, I didn't really know. I was a little fidgety, but after a while, I found other ways to kind of cope with it. I would, one of my favorite things, this is going to sound really creepy, but one of my favorite things to do was to just run my fingers through her hair. That worked. And as it so happened, she liked it. She liked it when I did that. And it was kind of funny because she asked me why I did that so much, especially when her and I, we got to be around like, it was like 6-7 months in. She asked me that. And I told her, I was like, well, okay, stupid as this is going to sound, honestly, this is why. And I told her. And as luck would have it, she thought that was the most adorable thing she'd ever heard. Like, whew, all right. Close one. All right. I'm good. I'm good. But, so don't worry about if you start getting a little fidgety, if you're, a little nervous about this, that, and the other, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Just go with the flow. Don't force anything. It's all good. So, not everybody has answers for everything all the damn time. And 9 times out of 10, the person that you're with, if they happen to do notice you're a little fidgety, I mean, they may ask about it, just like curious, but other than that, they're probably not really going to care. They're like, oh, okay, well, he's fidgety, whatever. So it is what it is. Just play it cool. That's all you got to do. And, your face will flush. It'll feel like you're running a fever, but you're like, oh, hell no. No, I'm not. This ain't got nothing to do with that. And that's just another way that is that no matter what, just the simplest little touch sends that coursing through you. And I mean, after a while, being in their presence, you won't be like that per se, but every time they touch you, it doesn't matter if it's completely innocent or not, you still feel it. And it never goes away. That's how you got it. And that's what it is. And I finished that off right around the time when we got to the where he was supposed to be. I'm like, does that make sense to you? He said, yeah. I go, now you see why I give all you middle schoolers so much crap when you're like, oh my God, the love of my life. I love him. I'm like, get real. For obvious reasons, I couldn't exactly be completely honest in my thoughts, but I was like, y'all don't know until you've experienced that. And I'm more than certain that the statistics for that are like beneath the floor. So, like, don't beat yourself up if things aren't really clicking for you at this stage of the game. I said, you're only in middle school. You've got a long, long way to go. So don't worry about it. Worry about other stuff. I'm like, get yourself through the remaining part of the school, the school year and all the way through high school, and get yourself into a decent college so that way you can do what it is that you find out you want to do in life and that you love. And if it just so happens that you run into it or it runs into you during that time, then hey, run with it if you want. So, you've got lots of time for it. Middle school is not the time to worry about it. It's really not. Oh, just do your best to let it go. And just remember what I said. You run into that, that's how you know it's kind of it's the real deal. And he looked at me and he thanked me and kind of pulled me into a little bit of a hug. Wasn't expecting that. I'm like, oh, all right. And he looked up at me and he goes, if you don't mind my asking, like, how long has it, how long have you, when was the last time it happened for you? And I looked at him sadly and I said, honestly, for me, it's been a long time. And truthfully, what scares me is, the last time it ended up not really being it. It was kind of a false alarm for me. And I said, I go, this isn't going to make sense to you. You're not going to really understand this. And again, I have no idea what in the blue hell possessed me to tell this to him. But I said there were a lot of red flags that I just tried to ignore and try to push past. And that is a cardinal sin that you never commit, that you never go against. You have to pay attention. And a lot of the things that should have been there, if it were true, weren't there, but I tried to ignore it and make it so. So, but now that I'm wiser to it, and that was a few years ago, I can definitely see that no, that was not. It was all just in my head. But I tried to make it into something that it wasn't. And so he goes, oh. And I go, yeah. I go, but hey, I go, you live and you learn. So I go, that's the best thing I could tell you. Make mistakes, make them. And the only thing that's going to make the difference is whether or not you learn from it. If you learn from it, you got nothing to worry about. So that's going to about do it for me tonight, babies. for those of you out there that are kind of struggling in this area and not really sure what to do, how to move forward, maybe this somehow gave you some kind of insight. I don't know. It's kind of funny that I'm able to kind of talk and jive about this, and yet that's an area of my life that has been abnormally cruel to me, and that I don't really, I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say. So anyway, hopefully maybe this will help somebody else out there that's kind of dealing with the same issue that this kid is dealing with, or, you know, if there's more people that are kind of closer to my age that are dealing with it that aren't really sure, then I don't know. Maybe this will kind of help you steer the rough waters there, and, you know, help you get through it. So until next time, my babies, good night.
Cease to resist, giving my goodbye. Drive my car into the ocean.